Hi, it's Vicky here. It's Saturday the 8th of August and that can only mean one thing. We're off to Blackpool Air Show. So let's get going. And so yes, here we are at the air show, right in front of Blackpool Tower, so we can see all the action happening. It's a massively hot day and so it is packed jam full of people, but let's get going. Alas, I'm no aviation expert, so I'll be letting the announcer do most of the talking, but where I can, I'll do my best to explain what's going on. And here's a look at today's programme. I must confess, I didn't stay to the very end, so I'm afraid there's no MiG-17, but I think we've got a feel for everything else. So let's kick off with those Red Devils.
Now we're looking below before splitting apart. Here they are. Keep separation between them. And there we go. First canopy is open. Couple heavy bowl, our jump master should be taking it down a bit. Second canopy open. And out towards the sea are Team Sergeant on his wingsuit. Now the team can't actually hear you up there, so the more noise you make down here, the better display they're going to put on. Massive round of applause. So our team jump master will be the first one down. He will be looking at the smoke on the ground and seeing what the winds are doing. He will be assessing where he needs to set up. He will also set a landing pattern for the rest of the team. So the way he comes in, the rest of the team will follow. He's on a smaller, more nimble parachute, allowing him to get down quicker and land first. He's setting up, deciding where he needs to start his downwind legs to bring himself down in onto the cross. And here he comes on his downwind legs. Big cheers, Corporal Henry Moe! Turning into his crosswind leg. Pulling down his front risers to pick up speed, cutting through the turbulence. Swinging it down towards the cross. Ladies and gentlemen, Corporal Henry Moe! Next up we have our team sergeant, Steve Hanley on his wingsuit. Pulling down the front risers towards the cross. Ladies and gentlemen, Sergeant Steve Hanley! Our stat pilot will now be giving words of command to his number 2 and his number 3 and setting up in the right direction. But below that we have Lance Corporal Kai Fisher on the chain of smoke in-house on our parachute riggers. We were the first team to come up with this and use it on displays. Big spirals, Kai's now assessing what the winds are doing, where he needs to set up before starting his downwind leg towards the tower. Keep the noise levels up. He's coming on his crosswind leg, assessing what the smoke's doing, what the winds are doing, before pulling down his front risers, spinning it down towards the cross. Ladies and gentlemen, Lance Corporal Kai Fisher. Towards the sky then, we have our crew team setting up. They've popped their smokes, they are getting ready to downplane towards the earth. The stat pilot is assessing the wind direction, the drift, and where he needs to put himself. Turning down towards the tower now. Get ready, as they're about to downplane towards the earth. Right. Last correction. And there they go! Downplaning towards the earth at speeds of over 70 miles per hour. Big round of applause for coming! Might be able to listen out for the words of command for them to split. And there they go! They will all now choose a section of the drop zone for landing, keeping safe separation. First in, our stat pilot. Last Corporal Roy Moe. And last but not least, our 7,000 square foot Union flag. All the equipment to build this was built in-house. It is jumps on a tandem parachute, as I said before, 90 kilograms of weight, and the largest flag frequently landed by any parachute display team in the world. He's assessing now what the smoke's doing, what the winds are doing, setting up. Big round of applause as he comes over the pier. He's waving, look. Setting up for his downwind. Coming in around above the cross. Ladies and gentlemen, our team leader, Corporal Holly Goss. The aircraft in the top side, that horrible negative G. That's very uncomfortable for the pilot. All the blood rushing up to his legs. Maximum rate turn. He straps as he's passing on, tucking in through his switches. Down to just 300 feet. Just over 300 miles an hour. Pulling it back to a minimum speed of 130 miles an hour now. Eventually equipped 22 Royal Air Force squadrons and 3 Royal Canadian Air Force squadrons under Royal Air Force operational control.
Tell it is. This way, I'll be on television.
C-47, Dakota 3, Zulu Alpha 9.
I remember my first holiday on that bastard.
Hey, Bones, I've never been
There's that raspy sound I was telling you about. This aircraft was built by North American Aviation, known as the T6 Texan in the United States, and harbored throughout the rest of the world. More than 15,000 examples were built, making one of the most successful advanced trainers ever produced. 5,000 served in British and Commonwealth Air Forces during the Second World War. It's got a 9-cylinder air-cooled radial engine, as I said, 600 horsepower, and that distinct propeller and exhaust note become one of the signature sounds of vintage aviation. This aircraft is cleared to plus or minus 10 G. That's more than an F-16. Now you get to see what I mean by the roll rate. Now watch as he pitches the aircraft up into the vertical. He's going to pull back on the power as he comes up into the top, rolling the aircraft up, then push the nose forward, and then a flat spin, coming back into his own smoke, tumbling all the way down, spinning all the way around. Steve absolutely loading his G. Now he straightens the aircraft out after that snap roll, pulls hard back. With that massive G loading of 10 plus and minus, the aircraft, or the pilot, is actually not sitting up straight. He's sort of lying back at about 30 degrees inside the cockpit, and that helps to dissipate the G load across his body. And he's going to need all the help he can. Watch as he comes running in now from the right. 5 degrees up, slow roll, and then speed it up again.
roasted seagull. Yeah.
This aircraft was built in 2012. As I said, it's a carbon composite construction, extremely strong. A Lycoming 580 6-cylinder engine, that's a 9.5 litre, 315 horsepower, which is huge for something that weighs this best. And it just looks right. If you ever get a chance to have a good close look at it, it's just really slick. Aerodynamically, zero parasitic drag on it. This aircraft was designed and built by Philipp Steinbach in Germany, and he's moved over to the US now, and he's built the Game Bird, which is very similar to that. As I said, Steve's a local boy, husband and a dad. He lives in Manchester, but this aircraft's actually based out of Blackpool. He's an experienced competitor, competing in unlimited category, but new to the display circuit. And we've got to say a special congratulations to Steve, because he won 2 weeks ago the current British National Aerobatic Championship in the unlimited category, and he's now 3 times British National Champion at Advanced Aerobatics, and you can see why. He's also represented GB in Hungary and at the Advanced World Championships in 2025. Side slip, boot full of rudder, keeping the aircraft moving right to left, left to right. And then there's that horrible, horrible slow roll, negative to positive, positive to negative G. So you've got blood, 1 minute it's rushing to your feet, the next minute it's rushing to your head. It's really, really uncomfortable. Positive G is definitely preferable to negative G. Now he's gained some height. You can see, again, comparing it to the Harvard is not fair, but you can see how quickly you can get up to height. Then snap roll the aircraft back down, coming straight into us at the top, right back into the vertical, put a rudder, and then roll. Oh, that's a sideways spin, not like a flat spin. He's rolling on his side, so a combination of aileron and rudder to control it. Now watch as he pitches the aircraft back up, snap rolling. Still climbing as he snap rolls the aircraft to the top, and then inverted, bringing it back down.
Why do you need a wing?
The Lycoming 580 from a family of Lycoming engines. They're like the Ford Escort engines of the world. Everybody knows them. Parts are very easy to get hold of. Every mechanic worth his salt will have worked on a Lycoming engine before, so they're pretty bulletproof. Flat 6 engine like a Porsche Boxster. And those flat engines help the gyroscopic motion in the aircraft as well. So it evens out the throw of the pistons. Watch as he comes back in on the 45. Pitching the aircraft up. Now these aircraft come in 2 seats, so if you ever wanted to subject yourself to 10 G, have a word with Steve. Now into the vertical, pulling back on the power, letting the aircraft bleed the airspeed. Now watch as he holds it with the prop, lets it fall back onto its old tail, then flips the aircraft on its back, upside down, floating the aircraft down, then powers up and pulls back around again, pulling negative G. And there he goes with a prop hang, just tickling the power, making it act like a helicopter before he gives it a boot full of rudder, turns the aircraft around, gets the air flowing back over the wing, and back into forward flight.
Hey, you must be feeling to see if I have to do that.
It's a combination of footwork, your hands, because the control column is actually, it's the old style, it's coming up between these legs, a big control column, and a lot of these maneuvers, you actually need both hands on that control column. You can't do it with a single arm because you're pulling so much G. As I said, the control surfaces are so big. Again, no pneumatic assistance, no fly-by-wire, it's all cables and control surfaces, so you need to be super fit, not just with the 9G and the 10G loading on your body, rotating around the aircraft, it's all bleeding off the propeller. So, coming in for the last and final time with the Xtreme Air XA41. Bacteri, huge thank you, Steve. He's going to head back now to the airport, land up. We'll hopefully see him again tomorrow. Yes, I know it was a James Bond movie. Definitely, it's the one from James Bond movie, where he had the rockets and all that. I can't remember the name of the movie, but it's definitely in a James Bond movie. This is the Rotorsport Calidus Autogyro. Disc at the top. He's waving, give him a wave back. No hands on the controls. Shows how stable it is. About 350 miles per hour as they rotate. And that means they can smooth out the turbulence and help stabilize the aircraft. He won the prestigious Gold Calibri Award. Remains on board to this day. And that was, what was that, about 10 years ago? He's done a lot of fixed wing flying as well, which you can see as he throws this aircraft around. And you might have noticed, wow, this aircraft's a lot closer than everybody else. Why is that? Because it's in a lighter category. It means it can approach us a little bit closer than the bigger and heavier aircraft, and because it's so maneuverable. And as I said, it shares those characteristics of a helicopter, so in the event of any problems, you can see the aircraft will be able to auto-rotate very easily down onto the beach in front of us. So that means it can approach us a little bit closer. He's actually authorized to be as close as 50 meters from the crowd line and as low as 100 feet. And you can see that auto-rotation now as he comes down. If you've done all helicopter training, you'll recognize Alpha Kilo Foxtrot. And that's the silver and red aircraft. Tom is also associated with the display direction and airfield operations at Duxford. So watch as they keep this close formation flying. Here come the Yak 52s coming back into the craft center. As the Yak 18 exits left. Now the Yak 52, very different beast. Crew of 2, seated in tandem. 9-cylinder radial engine, 360 horsepower. A lot more aerobatics. +7 and -5G. Very responsive in the roll rate, as you can see with the barrel roll. Very tight on board as well. Again, like the Harvard, it's deceptive. When you get on board, you get trapped in. That 9-cylinder air-cooled radial engine, as I said, producing about 360 horsepower, and it's driving a propeller through what's called a reduction gearing, and that powers the onboard compressor, and that's what replenishes the aircraft's pneumatic system. Once you get airborne and you start laying some revs in, then your air gets topped up. But when you're taxiing around on the ground, it can deplete very, very quickly. Beautiful tight formation flying. You've got to remember at all times, people, that when you've got a leader out the front, so Phil's leading, he's the one doing the flying, and Alex is flying. Also, to keep that spacing between the aircraft as well shows immense airmanship. And it's even harder now when they do this, where they break out and they're on the right and the left. Now you saw how he squared off the top of that climb. That's not normal. You can't normally do that in a Pitts special. Be able to just get to the top, turn right, and go across.
The jet engines are so thirsty, they will use 60 litres of fuel in 10 minutes. Along with the 10 to 20 litres of smoke oil that we will be using and 20 litres of petrol for the petrol engine, the aircraft will lose a considerable amount of its weight during the display. So these early parts of the display, the aircraft becomes far more manoeuvrable towards the end of the display.
As you can see, the Pitts special keeps all its special roll rate as well over 400 degrees a second in the roll. And there's that horrible inverted pass. This is when you find that pen that you dropped, just pops in front of you on the canopy.
And this is where those ratchet straps really come to effect as well. He's hanging in those straps. And Richard doesn't have a G-suit either. So again, the Extra and this Pitts Special, they don't have G-suits like many of the modern jet engines. He's feeling every one of those G's that go through his body.
Is the seat canted back? Right, he's not sitting straight up, is he?
But again, the idea was
10, 15
there were plenty of aerobatic aircraft, but we wanted to bring something special to the air show scene. And so we had to bring something unique, and I believe the development, 4 years to build this aircraft and develop the jet engines, and I believe we brought something unique. And here's another unique manoeuvre. I can inform you that there are 140 shopping days to Christmas. And so today, we're going to try and create a Christmas tree in the sky. So Richard has now started the base of the tree, and it's going to climb and climb and climb and become the star at the top of the tree. And then he'll do a flat spin down to the centre of the smoke, which creates the trunk of the tree. Many but not many aircraft can do manoeuvres ascending. And it's not easy to come to a stop with a powered aircraft. He was doing 140 knots, kilometres an hour, and now there's the flat spin, which creates the trunk of the Christmas tree, with 140 shopping days to go.
Don't spend too much money on me this year, Colin, alright? I'm okay.
But now the aircraft is a lot lighter already, and now we can start some of the hovering manoeuvres.
Now some of the manoeuvres that Richard does, I genuinely don't know what to call them. I mean, I'm pretty good at calling out aerobatic manoeuvres, but...
Well, hopefully we'll use differential thrust here to create a stall turn with 2 turns in. Most aircraft can do 1. This aircraft can do 2. Here we go. Here there's 1. And there's 2. Is he going for 3? No, just the 2.
You cannot do that in a normal pitch. He's using just one side of thrust, is he?
Indeed, we can control the jet engines. There's one on the left, one on the right. So that was full right thrust, full right, a full left rudder, full right thrust to create that manoeuvre. And indeed, one of the difficulties is going from 140 knots, which is virtually the V-in of the aircraft, to a
That's not normal. It should be able to be. So Team Raven running in these home-built RV8s. All of these aircraft were built outside of a factory. That's why the aircraft are all very different. They clearly share the same. Also the light combing engine on board. The origin of Raven is a play on the letters from the aircraft, the RV, taken from the BAM family of aircraft. Raven 1, Simon Sid Shirley. He's a team leader and former Royal Air Force fast jet pilot, flew operational tours on Tornadoes, also instructor on a Hawk, Grob Prefect and Grob Tutor. And Raven 2 beside him there is Patrick Wilson. He began flying gliders and grew up around aerobatic aircraft at air shows. Originally worked as an engineer on corporate jets before becoming a professional flyer. Flying career includes the Saab 340, Airbus 320 and RAF Phenom 300. Now coming back in from the right, select the engine, propeller, avionics and internal equipment. That's why they all differ.
The man who was singing wasn't
The aircraft has 2 seats, arranged in tandem, with the pilot normally flying from the front. Beneath the sliding canopy, it's centerline seating, a long nose, tail wheel, undercarriage gives it the appearance and feel and comfort of a fighter aircraft. The RV8 first. And rolling out. For such a small aircraft, it has very... Now this looks suspiciously like to me the start of a heart. Not too much wind today, so coming from the right is the arrow as it goes through the heart. That's a very good heart. That's hard to go. Sometimes they end up looking like kidneys. So you'll notice all three of them called the brake, even the one who was at the end. And that's not so much for his enjoyment, it's because his other teammates want to know that he's made that maneuver before they start coming back down. So even though it seems a bit superfluous, it's important that the whole team know what everybody's doing at any one time. It's another reason for the smoke. The smoke helps us see the aircraft and it helps. Raven 6, Mark Southern. And a lovely spiral. John flew operationally with RAF Tornado forces during the First Gulf War. He later built in 1981 and became closely associated with the Empire Test Pilots School. That's the rig working for them. Dave Barrell is flying the lead aircraft. He's got around 5,000 hours, done well over 1,000 displays and leads the formation. He joined RAF Aerobatics back in 2006. And then Brian is his number 2, another highly experienced member of the pilot team, more than 13,500. Very uncomfortable when you're doing that. Now you can see the guns are dismounted from the actual rig on top and they are sitting on the front wing. There's not enough money in the world that would make me do that. Now they're still moving around as they went through, and they've grabbed their ankle and they've got it behind them. Look at that.
And that completes this amazing event for me today. I decided not to stay for the final Spitfire, and as I said earlier, I missed the MiG-17, but this event's on tomorrow, so if you're in the neighbourhood, do pop down to Blackpool to see this amazing show. And I'll see you again next time, back in my hometown of Blackpool, or in a theme park somewhere around the world. See you then.